Hi, good morning, guys and gals, kids and adults. This is the first installation of a series of videos entitled Your Fill of Pets. My name is Phil, and so that title is a pun on the word Phil. And what these videos are basically going to be about, it's about basic tips on how to care for pets that children can have, especially during this period as so many at home and perhaps with a lot of free time where they may be wondering, well, what they can do that's fun. Now might be the best time for your kids to have a pet, and having pets is a good thing because it can actually teach your children responsibility. As I mentioned, my name is Phil, and I'm actually a Library Assistant 1 for the National Library and Information Systems Authority. And so, because of my being attached to a school, on a regular basis I interact with a lot of young ones. I know for a fact that many young ones tend to like having pets. And one of the things though that many parents may cause many parents to shy away from their children having pets is because why? They like the pet when it comes home first couple of days, and then what eventually happens? They realize that they have to take care of the pet, and that's where the problem comes. So these series of videos are just designed to give basic facts about different pets that children can easily have at home, as well as ways that they can take care of them. So without further ado, let's deal with the first pet that we'll be talking about today. So the first pet that we'll be dealing with is, and for all you Ninja Turtle fans out there, I'll do a drum roll. Yes, the red-eared slider. Now, you may not be seeing him right now, but I will take him out for you to see. By the way, anytime you deal with turtles, it's always advisable, in fact it's a must for you to always wash your hands before and after dealing with the turtle. Well, in this case I washed my hand, but I'm putting on gloves, which is also a safe option, because turtles can transmit a disease called salmonella. So we don't want you to get that, so make sure you wash your hands before and after, and I highly recommend wearing gloves, disposable gloves, and throw them away after. So I'm going in to fish out the turtle. Yeah, that's funny. I can't say turtle out the turtle. I have to say fish out the turtle. And here is Leo. Now, as I mentioned, Leo is a red-haired slider. In another video, I'll show you the size at which I got Leo. Now, I actually have Leo for probably 5 or more years now. And when I got him, he was just a little turtle. Right now you can see that he's actually about the size of my hand. Right? So he's grown quite a bit. Now, what are some basic things that you should know about the red-eared slider? Well, the red-eared slider is a small freshwater aquatic turtle. Right, so freshwater, obviously, well, that means it's not a sea turtle, but it would tend to live in areas that would have sources of fresh water, like, for example, rivers, right? Now, red-eared sliders, they are medium-sized turtles. They are generally between 125 to 200 millimeters long, but they can actually grow up to 350 millimeters long. If you're not sure what those sizes mean, then I suggest you perhaps do a little research, and so you can get an idea of how big this turtle can get. But suffice it to say, this turtle can get quite big. In fact, this one that you see, which is the size of my hand, it actually has a lot more growing to do, right? By the way, are you wondering why I named him Leo? Did I mention his name? Yes, Leo is upset I'm holding him. Because in the Ninja Turtles there are 4, right? There's Raphael, Michelangelo, Donatello, and then who's the leader of the group? Leonardo, right? So that's why I named him Leo. Some persons may say I should have named him Raphael because Raphael's color is red, right? And he's a red-haired slider. But I like Leo, and so Leo stuck with him. Right, so as mentioned, they can get quite big. So Leo can actually grow to probably be twice the size of my hand. And when that happens, I may need to move into a different tank, probably a bigger habitat. Now, females usually grow larger than the males in this species of turtle, and you may find that in a lot of different animal species. Now, as you would notice, just a bit about the shell color. The shell, the upper part of it, which is called the carapace, so you may learn a new word there, it's called a carapace. And also the skin, which you can see outside here, it's normally an olive to brown color with yellow stripes or spots. If you look closely, you can see the yellow stripes on the skin there, as well as you can see a bit of yellow on the carapace or the shell. Now, wild specimens that are in captivity, like Leo, tend to have neat shells. This one is pretty neat, pretty clean, no damages and things like that. Usually the shells of the wild species are covered by a layer of algae, right? And that tends to happen when the turtles are outdoors, especially in the sun, right? If you're wondering what algae is, well, algae is a growth of green stuff that you can see here if you look on the tank. Now, you may be wondering, why is this tank looking like that? Yes, there's a lot of calcium buildup, algae, the filter is dirty. There's a reason why that is like that, because eventually I would like to do another video showing you how to basically clean the tank and get it up to a good standard, right? Okay guys, so this is just a view of him actually submerged under the water. So as we were saying, wild specimens in captivity like Leo tend to have neat shells. You're able to see the colors quite nicely. Those who are in the wild, they tend to be covered by a layer of algae, that green stuff that we saw in the tank a little earlier, which would hide their distinctive patterns and colors. And just to mention, you'd notice even though there's a buildup of calcium and algae, and the filters look like they're dirty, what is actually being done in the water itself is there is an established nitrogen cycle which helps to basically deal with the waste. And again, that's something perhaps we could deal with in another video, or maybe you can do some research on what the nitrogen cycle is, because you'll notice the water is quite clear, and what is normally recommended is that each week any debris in terms of fecal matter to the bottom of the tank, you simply siphon it out, and once you do that, the water tends to remain quite clear. So don't worry, there isn't any spike of ammonia in Leo's tank. Just needs that little maintenance on the glass and stuff like that. Now, where do the red-eared slider normally live? What is their preferred habitat? Well, preferred habitats include a range of slow-moving or still freshwater lakes and ponds. So remember, we said that they are freshwater turtles, not saltwater, so it's not a sea turtle. And in terms of what they can tolerate, they readily tolerate artificial ponds and lakes. So you can have a pond in your garden with these turtles. They often thrive in dams that have been polluted by excessive organic matter, and they can tolerate human-made canals, brackish marshes, and ponds in city parks. And if you're thinking about what you can do to make a pond, you don't actually need to build one. A lot of persons would use like an old tank that has developed a leak, and they just cut it in half. That's actually quite a good bit of space that can be used to house one of these turtles, to make sure that they have enough space. And that's probably something that I would need to do eventually for Leo when he outgrows this current tank. Now, what do red-eared sliders normally eat? And this is the last thing we'll discuss in this video. Well, adult red-eared sliders, they tend to be herbivores, which means that they tend to eat mostly plant-based material. That's what herbivores do. And the juveniles, when they are younger, they tend to be more omnivorous. Now, omnivorous or omnivores, they are persons or animals that get their food from a mixture of plant and animal. Now both the adults and the juveniles, they would prey on things like mollusks and invertebrates opportunistically, notably snails, worms, shrimp, insects and their larvae, and crayfish. They're also known to eat fish, frogs' eggs, tadpoles, water snakes. Of course, these are things that you may not readily have. Some persons may say they would go out and try to find these things, but even that isn't advisable because sometimes these live prey would carry diseases. But what you can always do is pick up in your favorite pet store some turtle pellets. I would highly recommend this particular brand, Saki Hikari, because it tends to provide the nutritional requirements that the turtle would have, and it keeps the water quite clear as well, right? So that's just a bit of in terms of what you would need to feed the red-eared slider. So as I mentioned, that's the last thing we'll talk about for this video. And what can we look out for next time? Well, next time we'll discuss 5 basic things that you will need in order to properly care for the red-eared slider. So we just can't go out and buy the red-eared slider just like that. We must prepare before so that we can take care of him or do properly. And so to end this video, I will ask you a question. Did you get your fill of pets? Well, I certainly hope so. So until next time, guys and gals, kids and adults, see you.